Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're taking a look at something which you definitely should have in your home if you haven't already. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we're taking a look at the CyberPower UT650 series UPS device. This is actually a relatively new piece on the market. It's got some really cool new technology which will help you save the environment, save money, and potentially stop your PC or other electrical items from failing, crashing, or just not working as they're intended to. Especially in this modern times where energy crisis is looming and there's threatened things of blackouts and all those kinds of stuff. For us here in the UK, we're kind of pretty okay in terms of our power supply. Generally it's pretty decent, and very rarely do we get any sort of power outages, blackouts, that sort of thing. But saying that, we do every now and then get a situation where the lights flicker a little bit, or sometimes you do get some weird things happening. This is a pretty good neighborhood in terms of our reliability, but there's obviously going to be some of you out there in viewerland which are living in areas where the power supply is very irregular and very unstable, which is where a device like a UPS comes in extremely handy. So not only does it actually provide you with a battery backup, so if there is a complete outage, i.e. the fuse box trips or something along those lines, or you just get an outage, then this will take over for a limited amount of time for your peripherals that are connected to it. But for other people that are actually in somewhat modern houses, you may have what is often called a dirty circuit or a dirty connection. So this basically means what you put in, you get out. So if you get a dirty current or circuit in your house and you get some fluctuations in the actual sine waves which are coming through, it's all a bit technical, I don't fully understand it, but basically what you're looking for with electricity is a nice smooth oscillation of the actual AC current. Whereas if you've got a dirty current, then you can get some spikes and dips and all that kind of stuff. And this is effectively going to smooth all that out. Very much the fact it is a surge protector as well, so not only will it protect you from under voltage, it will actually protect you from over voltage as well, which again, in modern era with thunderstorms and stuff like that, you can get spikes and it can damage components. We've often heard about this on our YouTube channel and also from our Discord, where people have had a lightning strike and it's basically taken out their entire PC. So an investment of something like this, which is actually relatively affordable, is a lot of sense and basically can pay for itself within a very short time. So I should start off with thanking SkyStalker, who kindly sent us this over for review and basically for us to use in the home, which is awesome. It's one of those things, again, it's not something that you always think, oh, I definitely need one of those. It's one of those things that you get and then it's something else that you don't have to worry about. And actually worrying about it is something you don't have to do because this is actually pretty inexpensive. If we take a look at some of the prices here from Camel from Amazon.co.uk, you can see this is actually normally somewhere in the sort of £40 mark, which I think is a pretty decent price. It does fluctuate a little bit. There was a crazy time back last May where this was on sale for £11.99 for some retailer, which is absolutely ludicrous. But realistically, for about £45 to £60, I think this makes a fantastic investment. And actually, if you're having problems with your PC, maybe you've got a PC where you're suffering from that dreaded error 41 code, where you're just basically getting random blue screens, or your PC will shut off and you look in your event log and it says the PC has shut down unexpectedly. It may not be a hardware fault, it may just be you've got dirty power going in. Now, it doesn't matter how good the power supply is in your PC or whatever device it is you're using, if the power coming into that device is unstable or irregular, it can cause problems. So something like this just is one of those things you can tick to say, yep, we're definitely getting decent power coming into the system. So let's go through and have a quick look at the box, go through the specifications, give you a better idea of what it's all about. We'll look at the ports connectivity, also how to take it apart. So if you do want to replace the battery, this isn't a one-shot deal. So there is a sealed lead acid battery in here using glass mat technology. It will last obviously a certain amount of time, but as batteries do, they do degrade over the years. So you want to be able to replace it if at all possible. And you can very easily. It's easy to get to. There's a couple of screws and you can replace the batteries. I have found the batteries available actually here in the UK for somewhere in the region of about £25. So basically kind of 3/4 of the price of this almost, that sort of thing. So it's not going to be a massive investment. You're probably going to have to do that, I don't know, 3-5 years time, whatever. But yeah, it's not a very expensive thing to do and they're very easy to come across. So let's take a quick look at the packaging first of all. So as you can see, this is from the brand CyberPower. They make some actually really good UPSs, one of the better brands on the market, and also they do OEM stuff for Amazon as well. So if you buy an Amazon Basics UPS, chances are it's going to be made by CyberPower. Also, they work with other NAS manufacturers such as Synology, etc., to integrate their system. So it's not one of those cheap brands which is kind of going to come and go. They've been around for a long time. So it is a uninterruptible power supply. So basically what that means is, like I said, if you get some outage or even just someone accidentally turns off a switch on a power switch, this will still remain on and protect your devices, which is, again, can be quite handy. If you've got a PC running as a server, or you've got some CCTV camera set up, or maybe just your internet and your hubs, that sort of stuff, then this is really good for making sure that that stays on 24/7. As you can see, the one thing they're making here a big deal about is their new technology. So it's basically going to consume around about 70% less electricity. Now, obviously, this is a battery backup unit. So normally with the UPS, when it's turned on the mains, it's constantly charging. So in the event that there is a power outage, it then switches over to battery power and the battery is always being charged. So it's always at pretty much 100%, obviously, unless it's being used. What they've done with this is a really clever thing. So they've got a new split charging relay. So when the battery itself gets to kind of 99, 100%, it actually switches off and it stops charging the battery, which obviously is going to stop generating heat, generating waste and all that kind of stuff, and also going to give you a little bit more longevity for that battery itself. Even though it's quite cost effective and easy to replace, you don't want to have to do it if you don't have to. So this should extend the life period of the battery. And if that isn't good enough, then it even does state on there that you've got potential savings of up to 45 euros over 3 years, which isn't a lot, but basically that's the price of another battery. So kind of the replacement battery in 3 to 5 years time is going to be paid for already. Or if you don't have to replace the battery, the power savings on this is kind of paid for the unit itself. So yeah, it's like insulating your loft. It kind of pays for itself eventually, obviously, as long as you keep the house long enough. Anyway, I digress. So this is the UT650 series. They do various versions of this with different types of outlets on it. We use the electric for the UK, which is the IEC type connection. There's other options available. You'll see those from the video description as well. So you've got a global brand in over 100 countries. Like I said, it's not a fly-by-night company. They are pretty much everywhere. Obviously, you've got things like the ultra-low power consumption, as we said before, and something else actually has got built in is protection for gigabit. So if you've got gigabit Ethernet, you've got a hub or switch, whatever, there is a pass-through for this. So you've got an in and out for up to gigabit. Now, that is something which a lot of these types of devices don't actually cover much higher than 10100. So if you are making use of gigabit speeds, which I think a lot of us are nowadays, it's actually handy that it's not going to reduce your speed should you want to use it to actually filter out potential surges or issues with your LAN. Something else which doesn't really apply much here in the UK, I don't think, as much as it would do elsewhere, but it is actually generator compatible. So you do get some of these UPSs which, if you're running off a generator, if your mains power goes out for some reason, or you're just using a generator for your electricity supply, some UPSs don't like that kind of incoming signal, and it kind of freaks them out a little when they don't work properly, but this is fully generator compatible. Anyway, I've whittled on for way too long. Let's take a look at what we actually get. So included is a little bit stingy in my opinion. You do only get one pass-through lead. So this for us in the UK is the kettle style lead or the IEC lead. So it's male to female. So you just plug that into the back of there, plug that into your PC and it's going to power your PC. Now obviously there's 4 ports on the back. So if you want to power something else, such as obviously your monitor, which would be helpful, or potentially even kind of, dare I say it, take the ends of one of these and convert it into a normal female 13 amp plug, so you can plug a trailing socket into it. Potentially you could do that. It will probably invalidate your warranty and you do have to worry about overloading this because obviously it isn't a particularly high powered unit, so do watch out for that sort of thing. But you can get adapters for this, so you can connect up things like maybe a router, a LAN, consoles, all that kind of stuff. Basically anything which is in your like hi-fi section, this is probably going to be absolutely fine for. If you want to use things like maybe big laser printers and stuff like that, then you probably want to think about a bigger model. But you do get one of these included. I'll put some links for additional ones in the video description should you wish to pick up a couple. Also included, you do get the quick start guide and all that kind of stuff on there, which tells you kind of very basics how it all works. I actually had to find out some of it for myself, such as how to turn it on. You'd think it'd be very easy to do, but in fact it isn't as straightforward as you would think. So in order to get it up and running, all you need to do is grab your mains cable and plug this into a suitable outlet. When the outlet's turned on, even if this is actually physically turned off, with the power button being off, this is actually still charging. So it charges in either mode. So if you want it to not be charging at all, then you do have to turn it off at the mains on the wall, which I think actually is a pretty good idea. So you don't want it to be necessarily on all the time. You don't necessarily want it to be off all the time. So the fact that it automatically switches between those modes is pretty cool. Now, in order to turn it on, very simple and straightforward to do after you've learned, is press and hold the power button. And you get a couple of bleeps there to say that it's on, and you should get a LED on there to say that it's currently charging. And the LEDs do various things. If they're flashing, it's one thing. If it's solid, it's another. So as you can see currently, it is in eco mode. So that is fully illuminated. When it's actually charging, that will be flashing. So because it's in eco mode, obviously because there's no load on it at the moment, so it doesn't need to do anything. So it's not actually charging the battery unless it needs it. As soon as the battery is fully charged, which takes normally about 6 or 7 hours, then it will go into kind of like a standby mode and stop charging the battery, but still be ready to give out power. When it's in battery mode, the light comes underneath. So let's give you some simulation of how that would work. So if I turn off the switch, you can hear there's a click of the relay, and now it's gone into battery mode. As you should probably see the battery mode there. And you get a couple of discrete warning bleeps. When the battery is getting to the point where it is almost exhausted, the bleeps will be continuous and the LED will flash more vigorously. At the moment here, we've got obviously somewhere in the region of about half an hour's worth of time remaining, depending what devices we've got plugged in. If there's a fault with the system or something is gone wrong, you do get the red light come on the bottom, so for an overload or basically just some kind of error. So it's very straightforward in that regard. If you want to disable the warning, you can press the button twice and you get a double bleep. That means it is now disabled, so you don't get those warning bleeps. Press it again twice, single bleep, and then it goes into warning mode. So if you do want to turn off those bleeps, so maybe if you've got this, I don't know, in a bedroom or something, or somewhere nearby where you're sleeping, you don't want to be hassled if there is outages in the night or something, you can just disable that should you need to, which is pretty cool. Like that a lot. So that works really well. Let's turn the power back on. And there, it's gone back into normal mode. And we've got our green light on. So yeah, absolutely great. Now on the back, this is our connectivity. So you've got 4 outputs there, all of which are surge protected and battery protected. So again, grab your cable, plug it in, and you can plug that into your PC, whatever other devices you want to. Again, other cables are available, so if you wish to adapt that, you certainly can do. Next to that, you've got an input and an output for up to gigabit LAN, so that'll surge protect your LAN, which is quite an awesome thing to have. If maybe your router gets fried, rather than send the signal through to your PC, then you can stop that in its tracks straight away. This bit here, there's a little fuse, so if for some reason you overload this and it pops a fuse, you can replace the fuse pretty easily. Or if there's a catastrophic failure and you do get this basically pop, but protect the rest of your equipment, then you can change your fuse, etc. So that's all well and good. In order to actually take it apart, it's actually pretty straightforward to do. So there's 4 screws on the back, in the 4 corners there. You'll need a PH1 screwdriver to take those out, just because of how deep set those actually are. And then on the bottom, there's 3 additional screws. That needs a PH2. You probably can use the PH1 if you want to. And then this whole unit just unclips, so you can unclip that and then gain access to the battery. You've probably seen some B-roll from this from when I did a little bit earlier, and you'll see the model number. I think it was an RDB10119, I think. You'll see for some B-roll and you'll see if I've made a complete fool of myself. But anyway, I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up, giving you an overview of how it works. If you want to find out more information about this, obviously head over to the CyberPower website. I'll put some links for that in the video description. There'll also be some Amazon affiliate links in as well, so if you want to check out from there, you can do. But I think every household should have one of these. At the moment, again, because of the global crisis with energy looming, then potentially it's actually quite handy to have one of these just in case there is one of those outages. For us here in the UK at the moment, it is winter time, or going into autumn/winter. So that is when our electricity system is at its kind of peak load. Obviously no wind power hardly, solar power is kind of useless. So having something like this is actually pretty handy to have to protect your investments, your hi-fi, your PC, your routers, all that kind of stuff. Just obviously do bear in mind its limitations. It is a relatively compact device, and actually you could quite easily have this on the desk next to you. It isn't really making any noise. There's no real moving parts as such. There's no fans. So yeah, it's quite unintrusive. You could actually have this on your desk next to your PC quite easily, I think. Let me know what you think about this one in the comment section. Should say again, massive shout out to SkyStalker for sending this over to us. Very handy and a very cool little device, and I'm very glad he sent it. So anyway, I think that's going to wrap things up. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.